Well, here we got Gus Edwards at 51
Whoa.
on the rankings. He's jumped up a lot. That's the first thing that we kind of plan on talking about. But J.K. Dobbins, they're saying he's out for the season now. So what do you do? I think naturally Gus Edwards gets bumped up. I think Justice Hill could get bumped up some too. I think that's what you should do until something else happens. But I also see this as an ideal scenario for them to add somebody. I think there's some names that could help that team that will be available or could be cheap via trade. The guys that I wrote down, I've seen some rumors that Latavius Murray might get cut from the Saints, and I think he'd be a good piece for them. I also know that with everything that the Houston Texans don't have, they have a lot of running backs right now. Mark Ingram obviously would be like the obvious pick, but even Philip Lindsay, if Philip Lindsay became available and the Ravens had a chance to add him to their team, I think that's something that you'd really want to consider. Um, I just I think that either of those guys would get the touches over someone like Gus Edwards, who just got drafted on auto pick, I think.
He
But
did.
what do you think? What do you think the Ravens do with this J.K. Dobbins situation? Are you comfortable taking Gus Edwards?
See, I mean, if you're asking me from a fantasy standpoint, I don't. I think with J.K. Dobbins out, I personally think you just pass on the Ravens running backs off the bat. I don't think you take a shot on any of them. I'm not saying none of them are going to pan out. I'm just saying I don't think that one is going to. It's going to be what you want it to be. I don't think they're going to be a value pick where you're going to have to take them like a Gus Edwards right there. I mean, he's a round 6. You can still take. I mean, look at some of the names going around him. I mean, you can get a solid quarterback. You can get a solid tight end. You can get even another good receiver that you're gonna have to play. I don't think Gus Edwards is gonna help your fantasy team out enough to matter where you have to draft him.
See, I've talked a
I
lot about the role on a team, and I think that Ravens running back is a very valuable role. I just think that it's too murky right now to feel good about investing in it. Um,
100%.
I think you're trying to figure out right now what that's going to look like later on. Um, I don't see a world where Gus Edwards is somebody they're leaning on heavily. I mean, even if they were picking up a guy on free agency, I mentioned AP, you mentioned somebody else. Um,
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley, like if I could see the Ravens adding one of those guys too, and I think it's more likely that they add one of the names that we've mentioned than ride Gus Edwards out for the year. So yeah, I
Okay.
mean I'm down on drafting him, especially at the point that we just saw him go. I think it was like 50 overall
Yeah, it was.
ADP.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first picks of the sixth round. So yeah, 53,
Yeah, we're
63.
we're gonna stay away from that. If it becomes clear later, like week 2 or 3, that they're not going to bring someone else in. I mean, maybe you try to buy low if he has a couple bad weeks, but we're leaving that be for now.